Brief with Thulasizwe Simelane.
9 minutes to 9. The National Employers Association of South Africa, NIASA, has raised concern about the future of ArcelorMittal SA, arguing that the steel producer cannot survive without continuous government aid. NIASA's chief executive, Gerhard Papenfuss, has highlighted the challenges facing AMSA, claiming that despite financial support and protective tariffs, the company's future remains uncertain. So Gerhard Papenfuss joins me now to take that conversation forward. So aid has come through various ways, Gerhard, for ArcelorMittal South Africa. At stake, 3,000 jobs. So the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition weighing in, as well as the Industrial Development Corporation with various streams of financial support. What do you make of that? Will it be enough to rescue and save ArcelorMittal and, importantly, its contribution to the steel industry?
Good morning. Good morning, sir. Good morning to the Sizwe. You know, the whole steel import duty campaign, if you can call it that, started in 2015. And in 2015, just a very short history on this thing. In 2015, Minister Rob Davies said that at that point there was a 5% import duty that prevailed at the time. And Rob Davies said that must go because South Africa needs a developmental price on steel for the industry to grow. But then Lakshmi Mittal visited South Africa. He came to see then President Zuma at the Union Building, and then everything changed. They immediately introduced import duties, and they added to that was 10%, and they added to that 12% anti-dumping duties. And, you know, that's, in other words, we're talking about 10 years of duties. And in this period, this is not helped. The industry has declined. And it does not, apart from the fact that the industry is now 25% smaller than what it was 10 years ago, it didn't help AMSA either. Yeah, you know, this is just the nature of this duty animal, that it doesn't protect you. I mean, instead of improving the quality of your product, the quality of your service, you rely on protection. And at the end, it will catch up with you.
So are you saying that's the fate that befell ArcelorMittal, that instead of improving the quality of the product and its productivity and efficiencies, it relied on protection in the form of the duties that you're talking about?
That's exactly what I'm saying. And you know, in the meantime, it's costing the industry. The price of steel has gone up. The downstream has become uncompetitive. I see, I mean, in NIASA, I mean, we're in all industries, but we've got a very big footprint in the steel industry. And I can see the decline. I talk to the people, and there's one message: we are no longer competitive. And the moment you price increase, your customers can no less afford to buy from you. That impacts on the downstream. And if it impacts the downstream, it will impact on AMSA. You're killing your own almost said patient. You're killing your own customers. So that is, unless AMSA upgrade its facilities, unless AMSA becomes competitive, that's the bottom line, they will not survive on the long run.
Well,
they will rely on government assistance.
Part of the conditions, Mr. Papenfuss, that government has attached to this financial support is that AMSA should take part and participate in Productivity SA's turnaround and recovery program. I imagine it is meant to address those very issues of competitiveness. Do you still believe that despite all of that, they will still not be able to run and be sustainable without government support going forward?
May I give you my personal view? They're playing for time. You know, when government gave them their duties in 2015, it came with conditions. None of that materialized. And I mean, there's many aid that's happened in the meantime, and all of that AMSA did not improve the quality of the product and productivity.
So what's the alternative path then?
What is the alternative path? Well, whatever you do, there are difficulties on the road. But here's the thing. if a country cannot produce a product competitively, then they must stop producing that product. A government cannot keep a company alive that cannot produce a product competitively. Then you need to import it. Now, I often use the example of, let's say a company in South Africa says, we're going to manufacture cell phones, and then realized after a year they can't manufacture cell phones competitively, and then go to government and says, protect us against the importation of cell phones.
Are you saying altogether we should exit steel production in this country and rely on imports?
No. Well, steel production, I say, what is the result if we rely on a primary steel producer that makes it impossible for the downstream to compete? I say, well, then we need to import those products. Now, I understand the problem at the port. I understand the problem at rail, in respect of rail and roads. I understand, but then that focus needs to shift.
Yeah.
But because if you cannot buy, if the producer is harming the downstream, and imports is an alternative, and I mean there are examples in the world. Vietnam flourished with imports. They've got now a big steel a plant in Vietnam, but that is after the downstream was enabled and empowered. Then they can do it. But now, this time, the downstream is in decline.
All right. I've got to thank you for your time and your insights this morning. That's Gerard Papenfuss. He is the CEO of the National Employers Association of South Africa.